Hello and welcome to Competition Community. I am Saurabh and in the series of FTR 3.0, today we are going to see the second video on quantitative aptitude. So the topic for our discussion today are going to be percentage, profit and loss, simple interest, compound interest and partnership. We are going to discuss these 5 topics today. So let's begin. Before we start percentage questions, we should know the fractional values of few percentages, that is from 1 to 1 by 20. So let us see these values. As we all know, 1 by 1 is 100%, 1 by 2 is 50%, 1 by 3 is 33.33%, which can be written as 33.33 as well. Okay. 1 by 4 is 25%, 1 by 5 is 20%, 1 by 6 is 16 divided by 16 2 by 3, which is 16.67 percentage. This also you can write 14 2 by 7, or we can write as 14.28 percentage, right? 1 by 8 is 12, 1 by 2 that is 12.5, 1 by 9 is 11, 1 by 9 which is 11.11 percentage. This also you can write over here. 1 by 10 is 10 percentage. 1 by 11 is 9, 1 by 11 which is equal to 9.09 percentage approximately, right? 1 by 12 is 8, 1 by 3 which is equal to 8.33. This can be written as 8.33 percentage as well. Then we have 1 by 13 which is 7, 9 by 13 which can be written as 7.69 percentage. This can be written as 7.69 percentage, right? Then we have 1 by 14 which is 7 2 by 14, or 7 2 by 14 can be written as 7 1 by 7 as well, which is equal to I'll write it here, 7.14 percentage, right? This can be written as 7.14 percentage. Then 1 by 15 is 16 2 by 3 which 6 2 by 3 which is equal to 6.66 percentage approximately. Now if we move on forward, we have 1 by 16 which is 6 1 by 4 percentage. What is 6 1 by 4 percentage? It is 6.25 percentage, right? Then 1 by 17 is 15 by 17 which is equal to 5.88 percentage. Then 5 by 9 means 1 by 18 which is equal to 5.55 percentage. 5.55 percentage. Then 5 by 19 is 5.26 percentage. Then 1 by 20 is equal to 5 percentage. So these percentage values are very important and you should know these values, because we are going to use these fractional values and percentage values to make our calculation easy in the topics which we are going to discuss. I hope you would have written this on your notebook. Let's begin the revision of these topics. So here is the first questions on your screen. You can see 5 by 12 of 2 by 5 of 20% of a number is equal to 252. So it is very simple. We know that of means multiplication, right? Of means multiplication. So let's start. It is 5 by 2, 5 by 12 of what? 2 by 5. Of again multiplication. Then 20%. What is 20%? Just 20 by 100. It means that 20 by 100 which is equal to 1 by 5. A little while ago we have seen 1 by 5 is 20%. Either you can write it 20 by 100 or you can directly write as 1 by 5. Of a number, now there is a number. Let us assume that number is x is equal to, if we are getting over here is, we'll put is equal to 252. Right? So let us try to solve it. 5 20s are 100. And 2 will cut with this how many times? 126 times, and this is 60. So x is what? 60 multiplied by 126. So this will come out to be 26. So if 6 are 36, and this is 72 plus 3 756. 7560 is the answer, and C option is the correct answer for this question number 1. I hope this question number 1 is clear. Let's move on to the second question. The price of a tea increased by 20%. A man reduces his consumption by 20%. By how much percent will his expense for tea be decreased? See, there are multiple ways to solve this problem. Number 1, we know that successive percent change is equal to x plus y plus xy by 100. If we are changing a value by x percent and successively we are changing it by y percent, then the percentage net change is equal to x plus y plus xy by 100. And we know that expense is equal to price into consumption. How did this formula come into existence? Suppose you are using 10 liters of petrol in a month and the price of the petrol is 80 rupees, then your expense is going to be 800 rupees. I said you are using how many liters of petrol? You are using 10 liters of petrol and the price is 80 rupees. Then your expense is going to be 800. That is how this formula has come into existence. Now, as we understood this formula, I am saying that if one of these values changes by X percentage and the other value changes by Y percentage, so we are changing this by X percentage and again we are changing it by Y percentage, then this will change by percentage net. And what is percentage net? We know that percentage net changes X plus Y plus XY by 100. So let's try to solve it. The price of the tea being increased by 20%. So the price has been increased, so I'll write as plus 20%. And a man reduces his consumption by 20%. When it is getting reduced, we have to put minus 20%. So his expense will reduce by how much? It is directly 20 minus 20 plus 20 into minus 20 by 100. You don't need to write this much. This 20 will 20 and 20 will get cancelled, and this two zeros will get cancelled by these two. So we are getting it as minus 4%, and minus 4 means it will get reduced by 4%. It will get reduced. Minus means it is getting reduced, and by how much? It is getting by 4%. So it is asked how much percentage it will get decreased, and decreased and 4%. Decreased means minus and 4% is the magnitude. I hope this method is clear, but there is one more method to solve it. I'll tell you the second method. Here is the second method. We know that 20% is equal to 1 by 5. We know that 20% is equal to 1 by 5. So the price got increased by 20%, means initially it was 5, now it became 6. And again the consumption, it got decreased. See, price increased by 20% and the consumption reduced. It means initially it was 5 and it is getting reduced by 1 by 5, so it will become 4 times now. So now the denominator is 25. Yani initially the expense, this is the expense which is coming out. Initially the expense was 25 and 6 for the 24. It became 24. So how much did it get reduced? It got reduced by 1. In how much? 25 multiplied by 100. That is our percentage decrease formula. So this is going to be 4%. This is what percentage decrease formula we are using, and it is 4%, right? So this is the second method, which is much more easier than the first. You don't need to remember any formula. Directly you can see initially it was 25 and now it became 24, so it got reduced by 1. In how much did it reduce by 1? It reduced in 1 in 25. So 1 divided by 25 multiplied by 100, which is equal to 4% decrease. So you can solve it either way. I hope this second method is also clear. Let's move on to the third question. What will be the simple interest earned on an amount of 16,800 in 9 months at the rate of 6 1 by 4%? Now we know that this 6 1 by 4% means 1 by 16. Another formula which we need is simple interest is equal to principal into rate into time by 100, which is nothing but SI is equal to P into R by 100 into T. Now we know that this principal, see what we have to ask. If this is the principal, this is my principal, this principal I'll write here as 16,800. Now the rate of interest is 6 1 by 4%, and this is the rate of interest in percentage, which we can replace by 1 by 16. We have already seen this fractional values, and the time is 9 months. But we write the time in years, so I have to write here 9 divided by 12 year, because this is 9 months and this whole time is always in year, because this percentage is in rate of interest per annum. So now if we try to solve it, it will come out to be 1 by 4, 3 by 4 sorry. And if this 16 fours are, or if I try to cut it by 16, it will come out to be 1 0 5 0. And now this is 3 multiplied by this is 350 by 4, which comes out to be 787.5, which is 787.5, right? This is our simple interest. I hope this third question is also clear to you. So here is the fourth question. Let's try and solve it. If a vendor sells a coconut at rupees 14.4%, he makes a loss of 10%. If he wants to make a profit of 25%, then at what price shall he sell the coconut. Now see, we know that if we add profit to the cost price, we get the selling price, and if we minus the loss in the cost price, then also we get the selling price. Now we have been given 14.5 rupees. What is this 14.5? He is selling the coconut at 14.5. It means it is my 14.4 is my selling price. When is it? When we are getting 10% loss. So if the cost price is 10% and my loss is 10%, minus of 10%, so my selling price is going to be 90%, and this 90% is given as 14.4. Again, what should be the selling price? What should be the selling price when profit is 25%? So again, if the profit is 25%, we are not changing the cost price. The selling price is going to be 125%. Now, if this 90% is equal to itna, then what is 125? Easily you can calculate. 1% value is going to be 14.4 divided by 90. This is what is 1%, because 90% is this much. We need to find 125, so I'll multiply 125 into this. If I cut it by 5, I'll get 18, and if I cut this by 5, we'll get 25. And if we cut this, it is 18 8s, so this will be 0.8, and 0.8 into 25 is going to be 20 rupees. So B option is correct for this fourth question. The answer is B option. So let's move on to the fifth question. We can see the next question is Akshay spends 83 1/3% of his income and Pratik spends 60% of his income. The expenditure of Akshay and the savings of Pratik are same. Then income of Akshay is how much percentage less than that of Pratik. So there are two concepts which we should know here, and also the fractional values of 83.1/3. So 83 1/3, how we can write 83 1/3? We know that 83 1/3 is nothing but 100% minus of 16 2/3%. We know that 100% is 1 and 16 2/3 we have already seen it is 1/6. So this 83 1/3% is nothing but 1 minus 1/6, which is 5/6. As easy as that. Now we know we have known the fractional values of 83 1/3, and we know that 60% means 3/5%, 3/5, because 20% is 1/5. So 60% is 3 times 20, so it will be 3/5. As easy as that. Or if you are getting confused, you can put 60% divided by 100, which is 3/5. As easy as that. Now we know that income is equal to expenditure plus savings, and we also know that percentage increase and percentage decrease formula are these two. First we will come here for Akshay and for Pratik. For Akshay, it is mentioned that he spends 63 1/3% of his income. It means he spends 5/6 of his income. It means that if Akshay ka income is 6, then he will spend 5. That is 83.1/3% of his income. He is spending this much. So he will save 1. And Pratik spends 60% of his income, which is equal to 3/5. It means that if 5 is his income, he will spend 3. That means 2 is his savings. Now, it is mentioned that the expenditure of Akshay and savings of Pratik are same. Expenditure of Akshay and savings of Pratik are same, but here they are different. So to make it same, I'll multiply 5 over here. If I'm multiplying 5 here, I should multiply 5 here. I should multiply 5 here. And if it is equal, then if I have made this 10, this should also be 10. I'll multiply 2 here. And if I'm multiplying 2 here, all through I have to multiply 2. Now this is perfectly all right. For Akshay and for Pratik, the income is 12, expenditure is 10, which is 83 1/3, and savings is 2 for Akshay, and for Pratik it is 25, and the income is 25, and the savings expenditure is going to be 15, and the savings is going to be 10. Now this is perfectly okay, because the percentage has been taken care, and we have also equated the expenditure of Akshay to savings of Pratik. Now the question asked is, income of Akshay is how much percent less than Pratik? So we know that percentage decrease is initial value minus final value divided by initial value. This formula we need to use. So percentage decrease is nothing but how much percentage it is less? 25, and over here it is 12, so it is getting reduced by 13. Initial value minus final value is 13 divided by my initial value is 25 multiplied by 100. So I'll cut this by 4 times and this is going to be 52%. So the income of Akshay is 52% less than the income of Pratik. As simple as that. I hope this is clear. We have used the ratios and the fractional values and we should know these two formulas, percentage decrease formula and that income is equal to expenditure plus savings. I hope it is clear. Here is the next question based on simple interest. The simple interest on a sum of money at 10% per annum for 2 years is 8100. Compound interest annually, compounded annually, what would be the compound interest in rupees on the same sum for the same period at the same rate of interest? So again, we are here with compound interest and simple interest question. Now we should know few things, that the successive percent change for x percent and y percent, then we will get the percentage change as x plus y plus xy by 100. There are more than one method to solve it, but this successive percentage change gives us the compound interest. This gives us the CI. So we can use this formula to find out the CI. Now see, if simple interest for a sum per annum at 20%, at 10% to annum, 2 years, is nothing but 20%. How did this come? See, 10% is per annum, means 10% in 1 year is the simple interest which you are giving. So if 10% is in 1 year, in 2 years you will give 10% and 10%, which is total 20%, and the simple interest which you have given is 8100 rupees. So 20% is 8100. Now for compound interest, we know that the interest also gets added. So in the first year you will increase by x percent, and in the interest plus sum you are going to increase again that much percent. So twice you are increasing by 10% and 10%, which will come out to be 10 plus 10 plus 10 into 10 by 100, which will be 21%. This is the CI which you are giving, this is the SI which you are giving. So what is the CI? 8100 divided by 20 multiplied by 21. So this comes out to be 405 into 21, which will be 405 plus 810, which will be 8505. So 405 multiplied by 21 is 8505. That is the amount of compound interest which you are giving, and we have used the successive percentage change formula to find the compound interest. Let's move on to the next question. So here is the similar type of question, only the difference is here instead of 2 years we are having 3 years. Again, there are many ways to solve this question. You can use the compound interest formula, but we will use the successive percent change formula. See, the question is a simple interest accrued on an amount of 20,000 rupees at 3 years is rupees 7,200. Then what would be the compound interest accrued on the same sum at the same period? So now we are given the principal amount. The principal amount is 20,000 rupees, and in 3 years you are giving 7,200. So there are many ways to find the rate of interest, but the best way is in 3 years you are giving SI. How much SI you are giving? You are giving 7,200. So can I ask you, in 1 year how much you will give SI? You will say that just divide this by 3, and it is equal to 2,400 rupees. And the rate of interest is nothing but SI for 1 year as a percentage of your principal multiplied by 100, and that comes out to be 2,400 divided by principal is 20,000 multiplied by 100. So this 340 will get cancelled by this, and 24 by 2 is 12%. So my rate of interest is 12%. I know that we have got this rate for this simple interest as 12%. Now what would be the compound interest accrued on the same amount at the same rate at the same period? Now the rate of interest is 12%, the time becomes 3 years. We know that the successive percentage change of x percent and again y percent and z percentage, 3 times if you are increasing successively some amount, we know that the successive percentage change, that is 3 times you are increasing some amount by x percent, again y percent and z percent, it comes out to be x plus y plus z into xy plus yz plus zx divided by 100 into xyz by 10,000. We know now that we are increasing by 12%. So x plus y plus z will be 36 plus because every time you are increasing by same rate of interest, that is 12% plus 12% plus 12% will be 36. Now 12 into 12 is 144, and 144 plus 144 plus 144 is 432 divided by 100 plus 12 cube. 12 into 12 into 12 is 1728 divided by 10,000. So 1% change will be 36 plus this is 4.32 and this comes out to be 0.1728. If I add it, I'll get 28 and 9 4.40. So my compound interest is how much? 40.4928 percentage of the principal which is how much? This value. So I have to find out the 40.4928 divided by 100 into 20,000. So is it easy or not? Just multiplied by 2, it will come to be 56, and here you will get 98, and here you will get 80. So there were 4 decimal, 1 2 3 4. So 1 2 3 4, but there are 2 zeros, so the decimal will come over here, and this is the amount which you have to pay, 8098.56. This is the compound interest which you have to pay, and it is very simple using the successive percentage formula, which is for 3 years, and we know that the rate of interest was 12%. So just put x equal to y is equal to z over 12%, and we will get the compound interest from there. Simple and easy method to solve this compound interest problem. Here is the question number 8. Now there are many ways to solve compound interest problem. We have seen 2 problems based on the formula of successive percentage. Now we are going to discuss the ratio approach. See this problem. At what rate of interest, compound interest per annum, will the sum of 1200 become 1348.32 in 2 years? Now see, we know that amount is equal to principal into 1 plus r by 100 whole to the power n. This is the formula for amount. But we can express this as amount by principal is equal to 100 plus r by 100 whole to the power n. There is no problem in expressing this formula like that. So that is nothing but your ratio. This is what? Ratio. And here also we are having ratio of 100 plus r whole to the power n divided by 100 to the power n. What we will do is we will take out the ratio of principal and amount. My principal over here is 1200 and the amount over here is 1348.32. Let us cut it by 12. If I cut it by 12, we'll get 12 over here, and this becomes 1s are 12, 14. 14 is again 12, 28 is 2.28, 43 you are getting, which is 3 is a 36, and you will get 72, which is 6. Now we can express this at 10,000. If I multiply 100 and 100 over here, this will become 1236, which is nothing but this is 100 square and this is 106 square. So can you see this, that we have expressed this in the form of A by P, where the formula is 106 by 100 whole to the power of n, which is 2. So for 2 years it is like this. For 1 year it will be 102. For 1 year it will be 106. That means 6% increase. For 1 year it is going to be how much? 100 to 106. That is 6% increase. So because the power is n, the time over here is 2. If I take the power as 1, which is for 1 year, the ratio is going to be 100 to 106. That means 6% increase, and that is what is our rate of interest per annum, 6%. So in this question we have seen how to solve using the ratio approach. In the previous 2 questions we used the successive percentage. Let's move on to the next question. Here is the question number 9. After giving a discount of 10% on the books in printed price, a shopkeeper gets a profit of 12%, the ratio of actual purchase price and the printed price. See, the printed price is nothing but the mark price of the product, and the actual purchase price is nothing but the cost price. And there is a formula which relates the cost price and the mark price with percent discount and the percentage profit. What is that formula? Mark price by cost price equal to 100 plus profit into divided by 100 minus profit. So the mark price is nothing but the printed price, and the cost price is nothing but the actual purchase price. And we know that the mark price by cost price is 100 plus profit. What is the profit? There is a profit, he gets a profit of 12%. So if I put this as 12%, I'll get 100 plus 12, that is 112%, divided by, there is a discount of 10%. So the discount is 10%, just minus it, you'll get 90% over here. So now we have got this relation which comes out to be 56 by 45. So we can see option A is correct because cost price is 45 and mark price is 56. The ratio of cost price and mark price is 45 by 56. I hope this question is also clear. Let's move on to the 10th question of the day. So here is the 10th question. Let's try to solve it. Rupees 12,000 is deposited on compound interest, becomes double in 5 years. If it is deposited on the same compound interest for 20 years, then the amount will be. See, again, here is a ratio approach to solve this question. See, what we know, that amount by principal is equal to 100 plus r whole to the power n, or we can write it as amount is equal to principal into 100 plus r divided by 100 whole to the power n. This n, what is this n? This is the terms or the time, how many times you are calculating it, that is the n which is in the power of this factor 100 plus r by 100 to the power of n. Now see, amount deposited was 12,000. So the amount deposited is 12,000 and it becomes 2 times in how much time? In 5 years. In 5 years, right? Now this amount will become principal to the power of, now you are doing it 20 times. What you are doing? 20 years. How much will it become in 20 years is what it is asking. Now in 5 years it was becoming double. Now in the power you are doing what? 5 multiplied by 4. See, in the power what we are doing is 5 multiplied by 4. So it will come to the power of 4, which is 16. So my principal over here was what? It was 12,000 multiplied by 16. So it is nothing but 12 into 16 is 192,000, right? So this is the correct option. B option is the correct answer for this question. I hope you got this, how we have done it. I'll just reiterate one formula. A to the power of m to the power of n is nothing but a to the power m into n. This is Surds indices formula. So if we are multiplying power, something we are multiplying in the power, what we are doing? We are multiplying, suppose something was there and we are multiplying it by 4 again. So if you are multiplying it, nothing but, this means nothing but you are taking the power to 4 times. So if we are multiplying 4 in the power over here, n was 5 years, we are multiplying it 4, then it is becoming 20 years. So it is nothing but this factor is becoming 4 times, which is what? 16, right? 2 to the power 4 is 16. So the principal was 12,000 multiplied by 16 and the amount is going to be, then the amount will be 1,92,000. Isn't it very easy? Let's move on to the next question. Here's the next question. After the price of sugar got reduced by 20%, one gets 5 kg extra sugar on an amount of 600 rupees. Accordingly, what is the price of sugar before reduction? See, again, there are many ways to solve it. I'll tell you one of the easiest way, which is the ratio approach, how to solve it. We know that expense is equal to price into consumption, which we have already discussed earlier. So my expense is not changing. Here it is 600 rupees. It means earlier also you were spending 600 rupees. Now also you are spending 600 rupees only, but the price got reduced by how much? Initially it was whatever it was, it got reduced by 20%, and we know that 20% is nothing but 1 by 5. So if you are reducing something by 1 by 5, 20%, it means initially you were spending 5 rupees. Now you have spent 1 rupee less, that is 4. This is just a ratio. It means if initially you were spending 5, now it reduced by 1 by 5, means now you are spending 4. So what will be the consumption? It should become 5 by 4. Because 4 by 5 multiplied by what will give you 1? Because this is what? This is nothing but 1. And this is 4 by 5. Suppose this fraction is x. What is this x? You will bring this to the left hand side, transpose it, it will become 5 by 4. So I have written it directly as 5 by 4. If there is some other fraction, you can calculate and put it over here as it is. I hope this is clear to you. Now let us try to solve it. See, when the reducer, when the reduction of price was 20%, it was mentioned that you could purchase 5 kg extra, but over here it is coming out to be 1 unit extra, and in question it is mentioned 5 kg extra. So this 4 will become how much? 1 is 5, so 4 will become 20 kgs, and this 5 will become 25 kgs. What does this mean? Before the reduction you could purchase 20 kgs. After the reduction of price, definitely you can purchase more, that is 25 kg. So before the reduction, 20 kg is what rupees 600 is. So 1 kg will be how much? It will be rupees 30. It will be rupees 30. So before the reduction, the price of the sugar was 30 rupees per kg. I hope this is very clear to you, and it is very easy. Let's move on to the next question. So here is a problem which is based on simple interest. See, this problem will come both in simple interest and both in compound interest also. In compound interest, I have already taken one question on similar pattern, and we have discussed the concept over there. In simple interest, the concept is a little bit different. I will tell you how to solve this in simple interest with a basic approach and also with the formula. See, a sum becomes 7 times in 10 years in a certain rate of interest. Then find in how much time will it becomes 37 times of itself. See, we know that principal plus interest is equal to amount, and we are dealing with simple interest. So this interest over here is simple interest, which is nothing but principal into rate into time divided by 100. Now let us go on to the question. The sum becomes 7 times of itself. It means if the sum was 1, now it has become 7 times. So how much interest did you give? You give 6 as the interest. Then find in how much time will it become 37 times. And first case was happening in 10 years, right? This was happening in 10 years. In the second case, how much times it is becoming? It is becoming 37 times. Means if my principal is 1, now it has become 37 times. So how much interest did you give? You will say you gave 36 interest. Now let's try to solve it. In the first case, now let the time over here be t. Okay, in the first case, the interest is 6, principal is 1, rate is, we don't know rate, divided by 100, and the time is 10 years. In the second case, it is 36, and principal is 1, rate we don't know. However, it is mentioned, how much time it will become 37 times. So the rate is not changing. If it is not mentioned, we'll take the rate as same. So whatever rate was here, same rate is here, and the time is t. So r by 100 will get cancelled. If I divide it, 6 by 36 is equal to 10 by t. So this will become 6 times. So the time comes out to be 60 years. The time comes out to be 60 years. This is the way to solve it in simple interest. Now I am going to tell you the formula for simple interest for this type of question. Write it in big letters that this formula is for simple interest, because same question will come in compound interest, and if you apply this formula, then it will be wrong. Now the number of times it is happening is 37 times. So n2 is equal to 37 and n1 is equal to 7. So this 7 minus of 1 will become 6. And 37 minus of 1 will become 36. And the time 1, t1 is what? 10 years. We have to find t2. This will cut 6 times. So time 2 is equal to 60 years. So it is 60 years. So the formula has been derived from this method only. And this method is also important. This formula is even easier. Whichever is comfortable to you, you can use it. Let's move on to the next question. So here is the next question, number 13. Sohan purchased a TV set for rupees 12,500 and spent 3,000 on transportation and 800 on installation. At what price should he sell to earn an overall profit of 15%? So if I ask you the cost price, what is the total cost price? He spent 12,500 to purchase it. 300 rupees more he had spent for transportation, which is 12,800, and 800 in installation. So the cost price comes out to be 12,500 plus 300 plus 800, which is equal to the total cost price will be 00. This is 16 1360 is the total cost price. Now we need to find the selling price, and the profit percent is 15%. So we need to use the formula SP is equal to cost price into 100 plus percent profit by 100. So let's try to solve it. The cost price is 13600 multiplied by 15% means 100 plus 15, 115 by 100. So if I cut it by 5, we'll get 20 over here, and this will be 23, and this 0 will get cancelled with this, and this 2 will get cancelled by 680. Now see, you don't need to calculate the entire data. We know that here 1 0 will come, and 3 8s is 24. So the last two digits are going to be 40. So these three options are wrong. This is the only correct option, 15640. I hope it is very clear to you now. Let's move on to the next question. See, here is one more problem which we have taken. The sale price of the article including the sales tax is 616. If the sales tax is 10%, the shopkeeper made a profit of 10%, then what is the cost price of the article? Now see, we know this formula, selling price is cost price into 100 plus % profit. So now we have been given the selling price including the sales tax, which is equal to 616. Can we write as 616 is equal to the selling price into 10%? Again you have to increase. Okay, so whatever was the cost price multiplied by the profit percentage increase will be the selling price, because selling price is what? Cost price into 100 plus profit by 100. So it is going to be 112. 100 plus 12% by 100. This was my selling price excluding the sales tax. This was the selling price excluding the sales tax. But now the sales tax is 10%. So again you have to increase the 10% value, which is going to be 110 by 100. As simple as that. If I cut it by 0, this 11 can be cut by this 56 times. And again 112 will go twice with here. And the cost price is going to be, see, this 2 will get cancelled by this 10 5 times. So cost price is what? 500 rupees. So A option is correct for this problem. Let's move on to the next question. When an article is sold for 116 rupees, the profit percent is as much as the loss when it is sold for 92 rupees. Let's try to solve this problem. When an article is sold for 116 rupees, the profit percent is as much as the loss when it is sold for 92 rupees. So these two are your selling price. Both are selling price. However, we know that cost price plus profit is also selling price, and cost price minus loss is also selling price. So this cost price plus something you did, profit you added, you got selling price, which is including the profit, and this cost price minus you subtracted the loss, you got a selling price, which is the loss wala selling price. Now one selling price is 92 and another is 116. So this is 116, this is 92. Suppose the loss was X rupees, then the profit will be 3x, and cost price you are subtracting X, and cost price you are increasing X. So the difference between these two will be 4x, and this 4x is nothing but 116 minus 92, which comes out to be 6 minus of 2 is 4, and 11 minus 9 is 2, 24. So X is equal to 6. If X is equal to 6 means this is 6 and this is 18. So either you can subtract 18 from this, or you can add 6 over here. You will get the cost price as 98 rupees. So the cost price is 98 rupees. Either you can subtract 18 from here, or you can increase it by 6. You will get the cost price as 98. I hope this is clear. Here is the next question. Let's try to solve it. Kamal has 160 toffees. He gave 5% to Ravi, 15% to Anita, and 1/4 toffee to Prakash. How much toffee is left with Kamal? Very easy question based on percentage. There are 160 toffee with Kamal. 5% he gave to one person, and that person is Ravi. And again 15% toffee to Anita. So 15% he is giving to Anita. And 1/4 toffee he is giving to Prakash, and the remaining, there will be remaining. We have to find this remaining toffee. So the 5% of 160, see, if it was 10% of 160, it would have been 16. Now it is 5%, so it will be 8. So 15% will be 16 plus 8, which is 24. 1/4 of 160 is 40. If I add all of these, it comes out to be 32 plus 40, which is this total is 72. So if this is 72, this will be 88. because 160, out of 160 we have given 72 over here, so the remaining is going to be 88. Very easy question again. Let's move on to the next question. The last question for the day is here. Again, it is based on partnership. A and B invested in a ratio 4:5. After 10 months, B leaves the business after withdrawing his investment. If the first year the business made a profit of 49,000, then B's share out of this. Again, we know that this concept, profit is directly proportional to investment into time. Now it is mentioned that A and B, among A and B, the investment of A and B was 4:5. 4:5, and the time it is mentioned that in the first year, now B leaves that in 10 months. So A and B started together, but B left after 10 months. This means B should be for 10 months. And A is from starting to end, and we are calculating the profit after 1 year. It means that A will be for 12 months. Is it clear? So the profit is distributed in the ratio investment into time. So just multiply it. We'll get 48 over here and we'll get 50 over here. If I cut this out, we'll get the ratio as 24:25. Now the total profit is 49,000. And what is the profit of B? So if I add both, we are getting it out to be 49, and 49 is equal to rupees 49,000. Means 1 is equal to 1,000. So B's profit is asked. B is getting 25, which is equal to be 25,000. Because 1 unit is what? 1,000 rupees. So 25 units will be 25,000 rupees. I hope it is clear. So let's stop this video over here, and I suppose that in this quantitative aptitude 02, from the topics of percentage, profit loss, simple interest and compound interest and partnership, we have discussed the top questions, and not only it was a good practice for you, but many concepts also might have got cleared for you. And definitely in your exam, if these topics comes, you will be able to solve the problems from these topics. So let's stop this video here. We'll meet tomorrow with some new topics in quantitative aptitude part 3. Thank you.
CGPSC की संपूर्ण तैयारी के लिए कंपटीशन कम्युनिटी के YouTube चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और डेली अपडेट्स के लिए बेल आइकन को प्रेस करना ना भूलें।